Back to Inspired by Jimmy L. As you guys know, I fell flat on my face within my positivity journey, and it's been very interesting. You all know I lost my dad New Year's Eve of this year, of I guess 2020, 21, but it opened me up emotionally, and now I'm dealing with these emotions. And it's again, like I said, kind of knocked me off track a little bit in my positivity journey, and I am rebuilding what it means to be Jimmy. And I'm bringing Inspired by Jimmy L along with me. And so I've decided to kind of go back to my roots, back to my foundation of what has always kept me sturdy. And I know that it works. I know that it helps. And even now, some days it's okay. Some days it's working quite well. Some days it's not so okay. And some days I have to really almost psych myself up just to get back to a stable place. And so I wasn't there 4 months ago. And so I'm really proud of where I am now. To be able to share these things with you all on camera or the podcast. And anyway, what I'm doing is I'm listening to different inspirational speakers, motivational speeches, mostly on YouTube. And it's inspiring me to get to a new version of me. So here's today's clip, another one from YouTube. This is one of my favorite all-time people, which is Evan Carmichael. I don't think Nina popped into this one, but Nina is his wife, and I love her as well. But anyway, this is another one from YouTube by Evan, and the title of this one is part of his morning motivation series, but it's titled "You Have to Serve Millions to Get Millions." And he started this particular video with Lisa Nichols, which is another great speaker, by the way, just to throw that out there. If you do get a second, by all means, go listen to this entire clip. However, I'm only going to play about 2 minutes of this clip because something that he said really it struck a nerve. Here we go.
The world's number one at something, but we're living life too afraid. And the fear is normal, but the willingness to act is what separates the people who are your heroes versus everybody else. They're not special humans. They're not that different. They're still afraid. Don't tell yourself that they're not. They are still very afraid, but they show up. That's the only difference, the action. And so, number one, remind yourself that you do difficult things. That the fact that it's scary, difficult, or hard is not a good enough reason for you to play small. And then number two, default back to service. Try to understand what is the intention. Why am I trying to do this? Because I'm trying to help people. And so now I have to show up. When I'm scared, when I'm about to go do something like the interview or speaking on stage, I play between those two exercises, between those two solutions. And sometimes I'm 60-40, difficult thing, Evan, do difficult things versus service. Sometimes I'm 80-20, sometimes I'm 9-91, whatever you need in the moment, play with it. Because what I do know is that if you've got the feeling that you could do something great, that it's inside you, that you've got some kind of genius, and that you want to serve and you want to help and you have a mission and it needs to get out there, if you feel that inside you and you don't go and do the thing, you play small, you will regret that for the rest of your life. It's time to make some changes starting today.
Wow. Okay. Again, you guys, I love me some Evan Carmichael. So first bit of what he said in this video in regards to the people that we look up to, the people that inspire us, that motivates us, the people that we consider to be successful. Looking at them, they're really no different than you and I. And I know he's speaking of the different interviews that he's done because he has interviewed countless celebrities and people that we find to be successful. I 100% agree with him. Not that I have interviewed people on his level, but I have definitely interviewed some well-known people. I do know that having conversations with different CEOs and vice presidents and senior vice presidents in general, The one thing that I have found is legitimately, just as he said, they are no different than you and I. What often happens is they just simply chose a different turn. They went left, we went right. It just like that was it. That was it. In my opinion. I know that Evan relates it back to fear and how we all deal with fear and how we all have fear at something. Successful people just typically choose to do in spite of that fear. And so I'm really glad that he brought it back home to that. And what really struck a chord with me or struck a nerve in a positive way is me wanting to get my face back out here with Inspired by Jimmy L, especially after something as traumatic. It's been difficult, especially knowing that I hadn't been, living up to my standards, knowing that I haven't been practicing what I was preaching, and so it was fearful to get back in front of the camera or a podcast to say, "Hey, let's be inspired. Let's do this. We should be." No, it felt fake. It felt phony. And so versus putting out something that I would not be okay with, everything just kind of went on pause. Everything just kind of stopped. It was just like, I'm not feeling it. I'm not doing it. I don't feel it. I'm not doing it. And so where I am now is I'm not going to put anything fake out here. Never have. But I at least want to bring you along this journey with me and praying that it inspires you to be inspired. And I am praying, I am so praying that it equally inspires me to stay inspired. I know my job, I know my mission, and I got to get back to doing it. It makes me happy. It brings me joy to be able to do these videos. But honey, I'll never do a single video if I don't feel like doing it. I'll never do a podcast or an interview if I don't feel it, if I'm not feeling it, if that makes any sense. And I don't mean necessarily from the fear aspect, but I gotta feel it. I gotta feel it. And so, anyway, needless to say, that was a small clip from Evan talking about fear and doing it anyway. And yeah, go check out that whole clip. Really, really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. So that's it for me on today. This is just kind of where we are in the moment. And I love you guys. That I knew that was true. And peace be with you. Namaste. Until the next one.